Alright, in today's video we're going to be talking about where, when and why to buy a car as an international student in USA.
So, what do
You
want
guys might remember this guy.
Yes, I'm back. So, what do you guys want to know, Ali?
Alright, so what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be asking some questions and वो answer करेगा कि मतलब क्या करना है, कैसे करना है. So the first question mostly people ask is why would an international student want to buy a car in USA?
Okay, so why a student wants to buy a car in USA? If you're living in big cities like New York, San Francisco, San Jose, all those places, big places, so their transportation is very easy. You'll get bus, you'll get metro, you'll get trains there. But in smaller areas, where in remote rural areas or suburbs, there's not a lot of what I can say modes of transportation. So that's why you have to get a car. First, it's a necessity in the US to have a car, and second thing is if you have a lot of money, you can waste that money however you want. So yeah, that's the second reason. And next question.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna be washing my car and asking the same questions to Shiv. तो मतलब और ये क्वेश्चन भी मुझे पूछते हैं कि अगर कार खरीदना है so where should I buy a car? What are the different ways to buy a car? And if I am buying a car, should I buy a new car? Should I go and buy a used car? Procedure क्या होता है? क्योंकि इंडिया में second hand, third hand चीज़ें होते हैं. यहाँ पे it doesn't exist. So a lot of people who stay in India who come to the US उनको मालूम नहीं रहता है. So what's your opinion on that? Where to buy a car?
Okay, so for this question, okay, so if you're a student, right, I would suggest not to buy a new car initially, because buying a new car is a lot of, I can say, it comes with a lot of financial problems. So a new car has, of course, it's costly. Second thing is the insurance would be higher, and since you don't have any credit history, you would have to pay a lot of money, to get the insurance as well and to get the car as well. Your interest rate would be higher. So I would suggest not buying a new car. So right now we have a new car here. This is a new car. Yeah. So we have a new car here, and we have a used car right here. This one. So yeah. So as a student, I would suggest to buy a old car which has almost what I can say, like 150 to 100,000 miles. So in US the cars, they have a good life. So if you buy Toyota, if you buy Honda, if you buy Hyundai, you can buy cars which have 100,000 to 150,000 miles, not more than that. Or in rare cases, you can buy car which have more than 150,000 miles because they're still good. Or टोयोटा और क्या हुंडई और होंडा की क्वालिटी अच्छी है, बिल्ड क्वालिटी अच्छी है यहाँ पे, और गैस के लिए भी वो अच्छी है. गैस मीन्स पेट्रोल हियर, सो इट्स नॉट लाइक इंडियन गैस मतलब यहाँ पे पेट्रोल होता है. सो हाँ, तो वही है कि न्यू कार बहुत ज़्यादा खर्चा होगा. यूज्ड कार अगर लोगे व्हेन यू आर अ स्टूडेंट, राइट, सो तुम्हारे सेविंग्स बहुत होंगे, इंश्योरेंस कम देना पड़ेगा. यूज्ड कार है तो ऑफकोर्स प्राइस वुड बी लेस. So you should target anywhere around $5,000 to $8,000, and it's good if you buy a car sharing with which is a shared car with your friends. So for example, अगर आप एक घर में रह रहे हो और आप पे 2-3 लोग हो आप, तो 2-3 लोग मिलके एक कार ले सकते हैं. If you are going to the same college, traveling together, so that would be beneficial for everyone. Next question.
So now let's say if I want to buy a car, right? I'm a student. मुझे कॉलेज में जॉब मिल गया. I get my SSN. SSN, for people who do not know what's SSN, it's social security number. That's something like India में जैसे आधार कार्ड होता है, you can say that US में SSN होता है. And to get an SSN in the US, you need to have a job. If you have a job, you can apply for SSN and you can get SSN. Now let's say a student has his SSN, right?
Okay.
Or 6-7 months हो गया, he's in the US, so he already has his credit score built. Now अगर credit score उसका है, तो कितना credit score maintain करना चाहिए? And let's say if a student is willing to buy a new car, what should he do? Where should he go? Or what are the different ways to buy a car? अगर you can answer that as well.
So first thing, अगर आप new हो और आप student हो, and if you have a credit history for 6 months or 7 months or 8 months, whatsoever, It's very tough because first time buyer के लिए of course तुमको rate of interest ज़्यादा ही मिलने वाला है, तो you'll actually spend more there. Or you know, being a student you can't spend more on credit cards and you know and other stuff because to have so actually credit score, credit card का credit score अलग होता है और कार लेने के लिए एक जो credit score होता है वो अलग होता है. You can ask this guy, you know, he has a good experience of. He can tell
So
you.
a lot of people think कि जो credit score होता है that shows on your credit card, it's called a FICO score. People think कि अगर मेरा उधर पे 750 है, my car credit score is also going to be the same. That is not the truth. Car credit score एक अलग चीज़ होती है. That goes on a lot of factors. जैसे कि अगर आप you know what I was told कि मैं अपने credit card पे 1500 ज़्यादा कभी खर्चा नहीं करा हूँ. So your credit history is less. I was like, isn't that a good thing? But it's actually the opposite. मेरा कभी 1500 से ज़्यादा क्रेडिट स्कोर नहीं, मतलब क्रेडिट हिस्ट्री नहीं था मेरा. सो आई वॉज टोल्ड कि मेरा क्रेडिट स्कोर कम है. सो इन दैट वे अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स गोज इनटू पर्सपेक्टिव. क्रेडिट कार्ड का स्कोर अलग है एंड योर कार स्कोर इज डिफरेंट.
सो बेसिकली क्रेडिट कार्ड वाले लोग क्या बोलते हैं कि तुम जितना ज़्यादा खर्चा करोगे क्रेडिट कार्ड पे तुम्हारा स्कोर उतना बढ़ेगा. और मतलब अगर आप इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स आइटम लेते हो, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक आइटम्स लेते हो या फिर यू परचेज बिग थिंग्स विच यू नो लाइक इट्स मोर देन $1,000 एंड अगर आपके क्रेडिट कार्ड पे मोर देन $1,000 एवरी मंथ आप स्पेंड कर रहे हो एंड यू आर पेइंग इट बैक एटलीस्ट यू नो 70% ऑफ द अमाउंट, तभी आपका क्रेडिट स्कोर बढ़ेगा यहाँ पे और फिर वो क्रेडिट स्कोर कार के लिए यूज़ होगा. सो क्रेडिट कार्ड का स्कोर और कार बाय करने के लिए स्कोर अलग अलग चीज़ें हैं, ये दो अलग चीज़ें. सो मैं भूल गया, व्हाट वाज द क्वेश्चन?
Specifically, mainly the question is कि अगर कार खरीदना है, where would you say to buy a car? Like, there's different ways that we can buy a car. I can go to my neighbor and be like, hey, are you willing to sell a car? But what are different ways that you would recommend a student should buy a car?
Okay. So इसका आंसर मतलब पर्सनली आई वुड से यू शुड सर्च बाय योरसेल्फ. एक ऐप है यहाँ पे कॉल्ड एज ऑफर अप. तो ऑफर अप पे आप अगर यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे तो दिस इज़ द ऐप ऑफर अप. तो आप अगर देखोगे ऑफर अप पे तो वहाँ पर आप ये ऐप ओपन करते हो तो यूजुअली फर्स्ट पेज पे ही आपको आपके नेबरहुड वाले सभी चीज़ें. मेरा इंटरनेट कनेक्शन, माई इंटरनेट इज़ लैगिंग राइट नाउ. It's fine. When this page loads up, I'll show you. So on this app, usually, so whatever is in the vicinity of your area, they will show all the available cars here and the price as well. So you can literally talk to those people, and you know you can negotiate the price, and you know you can go view a car. You know if you like it, you know you can just buy it. So this is the page. So you can see here. If I click here on this car, so see someone is selling a 2016 Kia Optima for 7,800 or the odometer rating is 101,213 miles. So I would say, but if you saw here down, it was a salvage title. So title के बारे में हम अलग से बात करेंगे क्योंकि this video topic is completely different. I won't talk about the car types and the titles. But yeah, if the miles are around 100,000 to 150,000 as I told you before, so it's a good car, you know, and 7,800 is a good range. If you are a student and if you want to buy that car, definitely go for it.
Alright, so now let's say if I'm going to buy a car today, ठीक है, मुझे मतलब there's actually a student that came recently and he was telling that he's willing to buy a car and he was asking me if I'm going to buy a car, what are the things I'm going to consider कि मतलब माइल्स कितने हैं. You already spoke about that. You already said कि माइल्स के बारे में कंसिडर होना चाहिए. Now there's something called a salvage which he showed. Now salvage consider करना चाहिए, नहीं consider करना चाहिए, because it's a used car at the end of the day. So it's salvage something that I should think into consideration. Is that really important? और मतलब अलग अलग चीज़ें क्या हैं in perspective to buying a car?
Okay. So for this, I'll start with salvage because I showed you an example, right? The Kia Optima car, it had a salvage title. So the problem with salvage title is that the car salvage means the car had a horrible accident or the accident was you know severe, so that the car's condition worsened. So in that case I would not suggest anyone to buy a salvage title car because you know, for example, you are spending 8,000 on a car and then you know later on, suppose you know after 2 months or 3 months something bad happens to the car, you'll have to at least pay, you know, I don't know if there's something wrong with the engine or with the transmission. So with the engine or with the transmission, you'll have to spend more. and being a student, spending $1,000-$2,000 is a lot. Trust me, even now that we are earning, and if there's something wrong with the car, we feel bad to spend that much of money. So while looking for a car, always look for a hey Ali, uska naam kya hai? Clean title, right? Clean title.
Clean title.
Yeah. So always look for a car which has a clean title. It does not have any accidents. So always check for car
History.
reports. Yeah, always check for car reports. And the site for car report is Carfax. So Carfax, you can check any car with its number plate or its VIN number. Yeah, and you can find out the history about the car. Checking car history is very important because sometimes people can scam you by showing fake documents. So always check a car report from Carfax. Yeah.
Okay, and I would say to add on to that, अगर आपको salvage car लेना भी है, what happens is if you buy a salvaged car, the price of the car goes drastically down, right? क्योंकि accident हुई car है, so if the price of an actual car without salvage is like 10,000, the price of that is going to go down to like let's say 3,000 or 4,000. If you want to buy a car like that, have a friend who is a mechanic, ताकि वो कार को इंस्पेक्ट कर पाए, and then he will let you know कि मतलब इसमें problems होंगे क्या, because at the end of the day you buying a car, you're going to use that car for let's say how much time until you graduate.
Yeah.
After you graduate, you're going to buy a new car. So until that time, if it's not going to give you any problems, मैं बोलूँगा वो car ले लो. You need to have a mechanic friend. Or second, let's say Shiv has a car that's salvaged, right? And he's willing to sell it, and I'm his friend. क्योंकि मुझे मालूम है कि Shiv how he's used the car, and I know I can trust him and all of that. अगर वो बोलता है कि कार में सिर्फ ये problem हुआ था, ये accident हुआ था, I can trust him and I can buy it from him. But buying a salvaged car from a random person, I would never recommend that because you never know. You take the car off the lot, चल रही है proper, you're like I'm happy with it. 2 days later, the engine goes off. What are you going to do about it? So इसलिए I wouldn't say buying a salvaged car is good. Now we answered why to buy a car,
Timing, when to buy.
where to buy a car, and now it's like when to buy a car.
Yeah.
Like, would you say कि जैसे मैं US आऊँ, like I came to US yesterday or last week, should I buy a car then? Or would you say like 2 months रुक लो या 3 months रुक लो? Or should I wait for 2-3 months और कार खरीदने की ज़रूरत नहीं है? Like let's say if we are roommates, we were roommates.
Yeah.
तो अगर तुम्हारे पास कार होती, would it make sense to me to also buy a car?
Okay. Yeah. So as I told you before in this video, right, that if you guys are sharing a room or if you're sharing a house, so you don't need to buy separate cars as long as you have different priorities. You want to have your separate car. You don't want to share your car. So in that case, you can buy 2 separate cars or whatever you want to buy. When to buy a car? Yes, I would say that buy a car as soon as you reach US. You analyze the situation. अगर आपको बहुत ट्रैवलिंग की ज़रूरत पड़ रही है, अगर आप सबर्ब में या फिर रूरल एरियाज़ में रह रहे हो जहाँ पे ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की बहुत कमी है, so then definitely go for a car. And buying a car within first 3 months after you come to US is the best time, because me and Ali we could never buy a car until we got a job, because we missed the opportunity to buy a car initially when we came to US, because बाद में ना fees भरो, tuition की fees भरो, spending money here and there, it's very difficult to buy a car later on. क्योंकि जब starting में whichever source of money you have, like suppose you are getting money from the bank and you using a loan money, or your family is funding you, initially it's easy to get things, but later on it becomes very difficult once once you spend a year or more in the US. So I would say the best time to buy a car is definitely when you come to US within first 3 months. And why, I've already told you, because look at your necessity, look at your traveling, also look at the time you need to travel, because कभी कभी क्या होता है कि कॉलेज और टाइमिंग्स में होता है और फिर बस के टाइमिंग्स मैच नहीं होते. So I've seen people going to the college 1 to 2 hours early, and then they can't focus, they miss on assignments, they can't study. So for that, in that case, just buy your own car. You have your own freedom to go anywhere and anytime you want. Yeah, so that is the answer.
और मतलब one thing really matters कि मतलब let's say if you're going to a place जिसमें already Indian की community है, और अगर Indian की community already exist होती है उधर, so you can ask for help if you want to go. अभी यही है कि मतलब let's say if you buy a car, right, you live opposite to the university, then I would say कि मतलब group में मिलके कार ले लो. it wouldn't make sense you buying it alone. If you want to spend money, if you have money, please go for it. It is obviously good, but like let's say कि मतलब if you want to buy it together, I mean the thing with us was the main important reason we didn't buy a car was because हम लोग के जो seniors थे, they all had a car.
Exactly.
And हम लोग we used to stay together, so we wouldn't mind asking them for help. Groceries लेने जाना है,
True.
उन लोग का भी groceries खत्म हो गया, हमारा भी खत्म हो गया, we would go together and buy it. But let's say if we moved in and we had no seniors and all of that, तो हम लोग क्या करते, we would buy a car, right? So buying a car is not like 100% important. It depends upon where you're going, with who you're going to stay, and how long will you be staying at that place, and how far away you are from the university. Important things to keep in mind.
Yes.
Did we miss anything?
Even if we miss those things, people will still comment on the YouTube videos. They will reach out to us personally on LinkedIn and they will ask those questions. So it's fine even if we miss something. We don't mind to answer those questions again.
Yes, please do. अगर कुछ questions है, if you wanna ask more questions about when to buy a car, I mean, if you missed out something on car topic, please let us know in the comments, and we would be very happy and glad to answer those questions. We hope to keep uploading more videos from now on. But yeah,
That's it for today and peace out.